What up, what up? This Finance, Fitness, and Folk channel. We discuss finance, a little bit of fitness, talk about some folk. So in today's episode, I'm going to discuss how women can build wealth. So admin notes, thanks again to all the subscribe to the channel. I endeavor to keep pushing these videos out. You leverage, the better yourselves. So let's get into it. So how can women build wealth? It's a couple of ways, right? In combination of the actual things we're going to go over here, right? You don't really need all of them, but you know, there's certain things that you probably should entertain doing if you want to build wealth as a woman, right? So one of the first things I would say, and this is my own personal opinion, right? You know, sometimes I do pull things from statistical data. But this is from personal experience, and I did a little bit of research as well, right? But I'm not an expert on this type of stuff, but you know, I'm telling you, I truly believe that these things I'm going to go over can potentially help you to build wealth if you're a woman, right? So one of the first things I would say is date, but don't become committed to a man, right? So, for the most part, men have to build themselves up in order to be the best version they can be for themselves and their families, right? So if you want to build wealth for yourself, right, I don't believe that you're going to be able to do that in tandem with your man trying to build himself as well. Because there's not going to be enough time for interaction with each other. As a woman, you should be a nurturer. Someone that he can somewhat confide in, or you confide in him, you know, vice versa. And I believe the emotional attachment that you would need to sustain that relationship would not sustain itself if you're trying to build wealth and he's trying to do the same thing at the same time. If anything, he's going to want you to help him build his wealth, not vice versa, right? And I believe that a lot of women think that you can do both at the same time, and I'm telling you, that's like less than 1%. I'm not saying it's not possible, because with God, anything's possible, right? But I'm telling you right now, based off of Western society and based off of just genetic traits that men and women have, you're gonna have a hard time trying to convince that man to help you build your wealth on top of him trying to build his at the same time. I'm just telling you right now, it's gonna be a hard road to hoe, right? So that's one thing, you know what I'm saying? That I believe that, you know, if you want to date, go ahead and date, you know what I'm saying? I'm not saying if you're not to date, but for you to be committed to a man and actually be married to him, like get married to him, I don't think that's gonna work. You're trying to build your wealth up. That's my personal opinion. So one of the other things that I would say that you should do in order to build wealth for yourself as a woman is to not get pregnant. Once you have a child, doesn't matter how many children you have, you know what I'm saying? Once you have that first child, that's it. It's over and done with, you know what I'm saying? Like, this is one of the reasons why I tell men the same thing, you know what I'm saying? Don't get a woman pregnant, because once you have that child, it ain't about you no more. It's about the child, you know what I'm saying? Now, there have been some folks that have been able to have children and build wealth at the same time. I totally get that. But it came with a cost. It came with a cost monetarily, and it came with a cost of you trying to bond with your child. You know what I'm saying? And I'm pretty sure most women watching this channel right now, watching this video, is going to want to stay home and bond with their child versus them trying to go out there and build wealth. I would say that honestly, once you have that child, your motivation to build wealth is going to pretty much disappear. You know what I'm saying? Until you feel that you spent enough time to bond with your child and nurture your child. And then maybe at that point, you may want to try to build wealth. But for the most part, you're going to want to have a man to take care of you and that child. And you're going to want to sit down with your child. That's the human nature, folks. You know what I'm saying? There are some women out there that have masculine traits and wouldn't mind doing both at the same time. And I'm going to get into that in a little bit here. But, you know, having a child basically is going to pretty much kick you out the game when it comes to building wealth. It is what it is. You know what I'm saying? So don't become committed to a man, and don't get pregnant. I think those two things are the foundation there, because the premise of those two things is that you're trying to build wealth for yourself to get your bag up. You know what I'm saying? And you're going to tie yourself with responsibility if you have a man, if you have a child. It goes the same with men too. But with women, it's a little bit more difficult for you to even get to that point of trying to build wealth. You have both of those two things going on in your life, right? Another thing I would say is that if you're going to be a career woman, meaning that you want to be in the corporate space, you want to have an actual career based off a college degree, I would suggest you don't go into a field that is, how should I say, woman friendly, meaning that nurses. Now, I will say that CPNs and LPNs, I think CPN and LPNs, they can't make a lot of money. I totally get that, you know what I'm saying? But it's a lot of schooling, a lot of training. And not to say that you're going to be lazy to go for that particular aspect, but it's going to take a while for you to get to that point. So if you want to do that, that's fine. You know what I'm saying? I'm not telling you what to go for in college. I'm just saying that, women friendly fields like nursing, childhood education, hospitality, those type of things. Things that is people driven. You know what I'm saying? You're around people and you're talking to people, right? And you're nurturing people, which comes natural for women, right? Those fields don't pay a lot of money, y'all. You know what I'm saying? And I know some folks may get into the aspect of like the wage gap and all those things. Not a video for that, right? I could make a video for that if you want me to, but those fields don't pay a lot of money. You know what I'm saying? And you're gonna have a hard time trying to build wealth for yourself being in those type of fields. You know what I'm saying? Now you can put money away in the stock market and all these other things and build your money that way, but a note on that one is that with the stock market, the more you put in, the more you receive. You know what I'm saying? So you put in a little bit of money in there once a month. I'm not saying your money's not going to grow, but it's going to take it's going to take a long time for it to get there versus, a person that have a lot of money can throw $5,000 a month in the stock market. I don't care what kind of stocks you have. If you know how stocks work and you're throwing that kind of money to stocks, your stuff is going to build quick. You know what I'm saying? And that's just real. You know what I'm saying? So, bottom line, those fields have small pay, right? Versus you going into fields that's dominated by men. The medical field, as far as being a doctor, a specialist in some type of field. You go into STEM, science, technology. I forget what the other two words are, but basically computer science, or like you're going into be a cloud architect or something like that. You know what I'm saying? Those fields are dominated by men. And I'm telling you right now, there are incentives for these particular companies to hire you as a woman. It really is. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm in the IT field. I'm in the computer field. Been in the computer field for a little bit over 15 years. I'm sorry, longer than that. About 20 years now. I got kind of military time as well. But I promise you, once I got out the military and I started being a contractor in the IT field, every single female that I saw, and it was a small section of them, right? You know what I'm saying? It wasn't many women that I worked for those contract jobs, but they're making bank. You know what I'm saying? They're making some bank for themselves. You know what I'm saying? But they made sacrifices for that. You know what I'm saying? Because those are fields that, like I said, are male dominated, and even though it was probably easy for them to get hired, you know what I'm saying, the pressure of performing around men, I'm assuming, you know what I'm saying, as being a woman probably was a little bit pressured on them, you know what I'm saying? So, but, kudos to them. They're making a lot of money now. They're getting the bag, you know what I'm saying, because they chose a field that pays a lot of money. And unfortunately for women, a lot of fields that pay a lot of money is male dominated. That's just what it is, you know what I'm saying? And also, the last thing I would say, not to belabor this video, is start an LLC and create a business. You know what I'm saying? Which I always preach on this channel. There's so many things that women have as a skill that you may have been taught by your mom or some woman in your family, as far as, sewing, cooking, cleaning. You know what I'm saying? I'm telling you, around my area, there's so many small businesses that do that type of stuff. And they're banking. You know what I'm saying? And get this, a lot of those businesses are ran by foreigners. They're not ran by Americans. These cleaning businesses and these laundry businesses and these carpet cleaning businesses, they're all ran by foreigners. You know what I'm saying? I made a video about that as well. You know what I'm saying? Foreigners make a lot more money than you. You know what I'm saying? Because they get in the bag doing these jobs that people think that don't pay a lot of money, and and Americans are lazy. So You get into one of those particular niches when it comes to creating a business, and you can make a lot of money doing that stuff. So one of the last things I'll say before I end this video is, in order for you to build wealth as a woman, I'm telling you right now, I don't see any other way for you not to be able to, not for you to have to do this. You got to take on some masculine traits. And that's just the way it is, you know what I'm saying? Because the thing is that building wealth is a masculine thing to do to begin with. You know what I'm saying? To get out there and to get money is a masculine thing to do to begin with. You know what I'm saying? So you can't be agreeable to a lot of things. You got to be assertive, and you gotta be dominant in that space. You just have to be in order for you to build wealth. When I was in the military, right, the first 6 years I was in the admin field, pushing papers. You know what I'm saying? Typing stuff up. I'm that old. You know what I'm saying? When I first came in the Army, we had typewriters, straight up. You know what I'm saying? I was doing mail as well. Basically, any type of clerical work that you can think of, I was doing it in the Army the first 6 years. Obviously, a female-dominated field, right? So I had female supervisors pretty much the whole time I was in that field before I went over to IT. And I'm telling you right now, you know what I'm saying, 90% of the women that was over me had masculine traits. And they had to, you know what I'm saying, because being a military soldier, being a soldier in the military, being a woman, and you got over 90% of the population being male, they had to be dominant, they had to be masculine. Because nobody was gonna follow them unless they did those type of things, you know what I'm saying? And, unfortunately for a lot of women, there's no on and off switch, you know what I'm saying? Once you take on these masculine traits, they're gonna stay with you for a very long time. It's gonna be very, very, very hard for you to turn those things off. I'm just telling you right now, that's just the way it is, you know what I'm saying? You're gonna be like that when you're at work, and you're gonna be like that when you get home, you know what I'm saying? And don't get me wrong, there are some men out there that will love you and marry you and will take care of you, which you have that masculine traits, you know what I'm saying? But it's not many. And building wealth as a woman comes with a sacrifice, and those are one of the sacrifices you have to make. On top of the things I just mentioned, you know what I'm saying, as far as, not being in a relationship, not getting pregnant and having children, going into fields that, you may not want to go into. That's the way it is, you know what I'm saying? So, anyway, that's just my personal opinion on how women can build wealth. You know what I'm saying? Take it with a grain of salt. You know what I'm saying? I hope it helps somebody out there. And if you want to do that, hey, by all means, go do that. Get your bag, you know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, you know what I'm saying, in my opinion, there's not too many negative things that comes with building wealth for yourself, you know what I'm saying? But understand that building wealth for women is a whole lot different than it is for men, all right? Like, comment, and subscribe. I endeavor to keep pushing this video out. Give you leverage to better yourselves. Find Fitness and Folk. Triple F, I'm gone.